One. Hey everyone, it's Dim and Kedge back for another episode of Namaste Rich. I believe we're at number 1 4. Welcome back, everyone. We had a lot of really positive comments on last week's episode 13. So yeah, really happy to be back again. Kedge, it's great to see you, my bro.
Likewise, Dim. Good to see you. Good to be back. Good to see you keeping track because I wouldn't have been able to guess which episode we're up to. Man? Just on the back of that statement, what's some of the stuff you kind of got from last week?
Oh man, there was a lot like because we covered a lot of things like last week. There was the relationship thing. Like we ended up chatting about that.
Yeah, I know
Um,
we got a bit mystical as well at some point. So yeah, just curious if you curious what you heard.
well, man, one of the big things I got. I don't know if you're on the group chat which has all the old clients on it, but
Yeah.
they actually were saying, man, we're keen for some more relationship Q&A stuff. So I'm actually doing you don't know about this, my bro, but I'm doing a live Q&A next week on relationships because it looks like that's an area that I think universally we all get challenged in from time to time.
Yeah, man. And it's hard, right? Because hence like Namaste Rich, the whole brand is about, richness in all parts of life. But when at certain times we're focusing more in one and trying to build our wealth or whatever, sometimes it's the juggle of trying to give everything, I guess. So can understand because I think a lot of the people in the group typically at a stage where they are trying to, I think wealth is a big focus for a large percentage of them. So as they're kind of focusing their energies there, it's like how to also give their relationships the appropriate kind of energy as well, I guess, right?
I think that's very beautifully said, man. Because like one thing that I definitely know from experience is that for people who have, I'll put it this way, in order for you to get a six pack or to make millions of dollars or to get an incredible relationship, no matter what you want to do, no matter what it is, I think we all agree, or Kedge, maybe you can weigh in with your opinion here, but I think we all agree that there's gonna have to be a period of like immersion and investment, like deep investment into whatever it is that you're trying to build. Is what I have observed anyway. You basically really have to uh work hard at it, to get a six pack or to make $1 million or to have great relationships with women, for men. And for some people that I personally know, when they have my mentor calls it over-optimized. So basically he knows people who are like billionaires. He coaches billionaires, like people from like Facebook and stuff, like people who founded Facebook or like PayPal and stuff like that. And he's telling me, man, they completely suck in relationships. And it's because and the word he uses is over-optimized. Like they've over-optimized
Mm.
because they put so much focus into this area for so long. And I'm not even trying to hate on that. I actually they for all I know, those guys consciously knew that this was a sacrifice that they were making because they really believed in building PayPal or Facebook or whatever. So for all I know, they they knew they made that sacrifice and they're struggling as a result, but they did it because they really believed in whatever cause they were pursuing. But I simply say all that to say, like, even people that I know, man, like they've they've optimized so much in the money thing, which is cool. I respect it. I actually sincerely do. But as a result, like their relationships are hurting,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah, bro. I got two questions and I got thoughts as well, right? So one, for most of these people, the question is it worth it, right? Is choosing that path worth it? So considering the cost for that, I know you said you respect that or whatnot, but yeah, curious, is it worth it? And then two, I want to this, I guess personal experience and question part two to that is for me, I feel like being in a good relationship has allowed me to further excel in the other parts, right? Because I feel
Wow,
like it.
look at that.
So,
Wow.
so- and I know that's contradictory to a lot of other statements. It's almost like it has to come at the cost of. So I also kind of want to, just from my own person, I think it could be a limiting belief that a lot of people have that it has to be one or the other. So yeah, I'm keen to hear like both sides. We'll do it one at a time. So the first part we said was like, you know, are those people happy with that? They built PayPal or whatever big business and whatnot, but if deep down they're not happy, I'm not saying they're not. I don't know if they are or they're not, but are they based on what you've seen from similar people? And then we'll come to the second part in a second.
I, with all my heart, I genuinely would love to hear your thoughts on this as well.
Yeah.
But for me, Kedge, okay, with the first thing about is it worth it? I think people who look back and say it wasn't worth it, I kind of have said this in an episode before. I genuinely think it's victim mentality. They may not realize it's victim mentality, but I genuinely think it is victim mentality. And the reason I say it, my bro, is like because, bro, at the end of the day, I think that we all of us, we're making the best decision that we can with the data that we've got. I
Mm,
think we are. And I don't believe in regrets. I don't believe in it because it's like you did the best you could with what you knew. That's it. So
mm,
why look back and be butthurt that it wasn't worth it? I really vehemently don't even I personally believe people shouldn't even let their mind go there. It should
mm,
be about, bro, what are you going to do now that you have this new level of awareness? That's
mm,
what I think, number one. Number two, the what why I guess I one of the reasons I believe in what I just said there, though I'm sincerely open to your thoughts, I really am, is
mm.
because people are acting towards their highest values, and their highest values could be music, it could be spirituality, could be wealth. It really could be. It really could be wealth, man. It really could be businesses. It could be relationships. So the thing is, we are intrinsically motivated, like we're motivated from within to pursue what genuinely feels meaningful to us. And we either do it in the light, in a conscious way, and an integrated way, or we do it in the dark, where we do it in a way where we're not proud of, but we do it, or it generates resentment when we don't do it. So therefore, like I think that people should take responsibility for their actions. And I really believe that there's this stigma that pursuing money is bad.
Mm.
But I think that that is oversimplifying the fact that there are people in the world who genuinely do have it as a value, and so, and I think where we get trapped is you should do this or you should do that, or like we're projecting we're projecting a way of life onto people when we're not taking into account their values. And
Yeah.
that's what I believe true sovereignty is. It's getting to know ourselves and what makes us unique, and our loves, and owning whatever that is. That's what I think, Kedge, on that point. I'd love to hear your
Yeah,
words.
man. No, no, definitely. Lots of thoughts on this, man. This is so
Cool.
yeah, so yeah, okay, so cool. Obviously, so from your point, people are acting based on their values knowingly or unknowingly, right? Is kind of one of the points you're making. But my thoughts are a lot of these people they end up what building these businesses, they divorce, got shit relationships, and I guess for me, I've met a lot of these people that I used to admire, and then, you know how they said don't meet your heroes, and I'm like, man, I would never trade lives with this person just because, but that could be okay for them, right? But is it also like after you start doing it for a while, your identity is attached to that? So this person who's building whatever, I don't, Tesla, PayPal, all these companies, right? They also like their identity is also attached to being that person. So even if it's like they don't realize maybe their values, they might have a value for these other things too, but they don't let themselves go there because there's a certain type of person they need to keep projecting to the world, and
Uh,
because they've already told the world I'm this kind of person, right? And on a scale, because I feel like with values, it's not like 100 and 0, right? It's like if you're really getting nuanced, it could be 70, 30. We don't know, right? But it's very nuanced. But I feel like, especially in the world of business, people's identity gets attached to it, and potentially people swing too far in one direction at the cost of all else.
Amen. And actually, I think you articulated that incredibly fantastic, man. And I think that it actually breaks my heart when I heard that, because there are people in the world who do that. And you're right, and probably more people than maybe I realize. Maybe that's what you've experienced. And I would call that a self-betrayal, bro.
Sure.
So basically, yeah, amen, my bro. Seriously, amen, man. Like to what you're saying. Really, amen. Because it's like that is a insanely good point. It's like, uh, because to me, when you get to know yourself and your values, and you just let's just simplify it. Getting to know yourself, whatever the F that means to you, when you get to know yourself, you can kind of sense your internal compass and your intuition guiding you in a direction.
Mm.
And to me, what you're referring to is self-betrayal. It's actually going, bro, I actually really love music, or I really love
Mm.
XYZ. But that person is projecting other people or society's values onto them, and they're denying their own self. And FYI, man, like there's levels to this. In my experience, like I did that, what you're referring to,
Yeah,
because
as have I, yeah.
because like for me, well, in the beginning, I didn't know any better,
Mm.
and in my early 20s, like I went to, good high school to get into a good uni, to get into a good job, and then I did my best in that job, and I just was very lucky because I found myself like so deeply unfulfilled, my bro, for me. And that was me injecting other people's values onto me and trying to live up, and I had a good LinkedIn, so by everyone's standards, it was good, but it was a self-betrayal. But I didn't know that it was a
Mm.
self-betrayal. I just knew that I fucking hated. I'm trying to not swear on this podcast anymore, but regardless, like I just knew that I just hated it, and I was very unfulfilled. And so for me, that's why I left my job when I was 25 and I went to Africa to try and like figure this stuff out. And it was there that I developed a sense of my own internal compass. So yeah, man, like amen to what you're saying. Like,
Mm.
if there's a listener out there who feels like they are self-betraying themselves, hopefully, hopefully they are feeling anxious or depressed or that crippling feeling of dissonance, because that's actually their body trying to help them get
Mm.
back to authenticity. That's the feedback from their body trying to help them. So, bro, can I just ask one thing? Bro, what I wanted to ask was, what do you think of all that? And have you experienced this? Are you experiencing this in the present day, like with other people that you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely with other people like that I know. I'm a keen observer of the human of the human behavior, so definitely see in other people, and of course, like elements in my obviously more self-awareness in myself than 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago. But I going backwards, however many years, it's like there was a certain version of myself that I had to project. Okay, entrepreneur, business person, high flyer, leader, and my identity was tied to that. So I had to keep projecting that version, and if I didn't, I felt like I was a failure. So I feel like I can like relate to these people that never realize that point, because once they've told society I'm this kind of person, then that quiet, caring, softer, nurturing, that's all those other kind of qualities that are also a beautiful side of me that I had, but I didn't really value it. So I almost looked at them, don't look at them in a positive way. It was like a negative of why am I feeling so quiet? Why do I want some downtime? Why do I want to relax? Why do I not want to get out of bed today? But I never wanted anyone to see that side. So it's like, yeah, definitely have experienced that, right? So that's why, and hence that question that I asked you is, I do these people sometimes because they've tied it so close to their identity. It's like, yeah, is that why they may have those regrets down the line of,
You're
XYZ,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, man. I
Yeah.
think I think that's a very um I'm really glad that you shared that. Because there could be someone out here who listening who can see themselves in what you just said. And I think clearly we've all been there.
Yeah, and I think I asked these questions. I think so. Obviously, we've all got our separate values. So I think because it's my unique journey that I've gone on. But I do, when I say unique, I do think it's probably not as unique. There's probably a lot of people out there that are on similar-ish journeys, even if it's not the exact same things, but just leaning too far one way. As much as it might feel like, oh, that's your values, but it's like there's other values that you may not be giving the attention they deserve, which are kind of getting left behind, I guess.
And that's what like depression, anxiety, all that stuff, like unfulfillment, dissatisfaction, they are your body trying to help you. Like that's your body trying to give you the symptoms to help you go, dude, you're out of your alignment somehow here,
Mhm.
you know? Dude, there was a
Yeah.
second question, and I'm sorry, it's slipping my mind.
Yeah, no, it was a question of like this. I think being in a good relationship, like that's so for me, like I was saying, being in a good relationship has actually helped me fly further in the world of business because I'm happy. So I feel happy. I feel satiated, like on all those other parts of life too. So I feel good. I wake up in the morning, I feel good, and it has a flow-on effect into other things, right? But so we always talk about relationships coming at a cost of business. Well, it's a common belief that a lot of people do have. So I guess for me, sometimes it can feel like a limiting belief that people have and they don't allow it. So just more once again, because I know you talk to a lot of guys in these kinds of positions, so keen to hear general feedback from a lot of the guys that you speak to, and yeah, just and your thoughts too.
Can we hear your first? Because I actually agree with your thoughts, to be
Yeah,
honest. But
yeah.
but yeah, I'll
Well,
share my thing too. But yeah,
yeah, and I think I've kind of shared it already, right? Because I do think it's like a limiting belief that they have to be in battle with each other, right? Because it's almost like when I'm doing well in business, I'm also a better partner. But when I'm a better partner, I'm doing better in business. When I'm
because
fitter,
can I ask you because
yeah.
because why? Because why?
Oh,
Like
because I guess I'm like, I use the word satiated, but I feel happy, I feel full. Like and because of that, I have more energy to give to those things. Because if I was in a,
bro,
yeah,
love it, bro. So
because if yeah, obviously the opposite scenario would be if the relationship was draining and toxic, then my energy is getting sucked out. Then I got to go next day and worry about all the bullshit I got to deal with in the business. Then I'm not going to have the energy to give that. And it's just so I feel like it's like a cyclical effect. But then a lot of people just blame the relationship, and maybe sometimes it could be, but is there a way of improving? And that's what I mean. So is it? That's my thoughts. That so yeah.
so to me, my dude, there's two things there. Number one is it's an assumption, which by the way I agree with, by the way, because I
Yeah,
have my own version of this, so I'll
yeah,
definitely speak to it.
yeah,
But bro, it seems to me like there's a kind of assumption. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that the relationship is giving you energy,
sure.
right? I
Yeah.
guess that's the first one. And then there's a deeper point that I'd love to speak to in a moment also in regards to people recognizing that asking that question, where do you get energy? Because wouldn't we all agree that if you are more energetic, if you feel like the version of you that you were in your early 20s, when you had all the energy and all the confidence and everything and you were going after it, everything genuinely would be better. If you had the mind of you at 40 with the energy of you at 20, like you do very well, right? Like
Yeah.
and so I think that the point, my bro, on just I think you just nailed it so beautifully that you're recognizing that it's a source of energy. And I think we're all on the same page that energy is a good thing. Because if you're feeling great, you'll probably make more money. So bro, can I ask like what would you say to someone who perceives that it's going to take away their energy as opposed to give them energy?
Oof, man, if I could answer this really well, I think I would solve a lot of people's problems. I don't know if I don't have a perfect answer, right? So I think same way we're talking about values as a general thing, we probably have values in all the different areas of our life to break it down further. So for example, we probably have values in our relationships too. So what do we want out of that? So I think there's two parts to it, right? So finding a person that aligns in the first place, there's a match because and whatever. But having said that, I think that can potentially also be a cop out because I think a lot of like you got to work on your relationship too, right? So even if it's whatever, I don't using around that 70% match, I still feel like you can have a 100% successful relationship because like there's work involved in figuring each other out. How does it work? Like how can we support each other? How can we let them live in their values? How do they let us live in our values? And working as an organism, I think that takes that 70% initial connection to the 100%, I guess, right?
Ooh.
And or it can, but it also if you say hypothetically you're connected 70% match, and I don't know how I'm pulling random numbers here, but
Yeah.
if you then choose to focus on that 30% that's not working and oh they're annoying, they're this, and you start just going down that path of it, and then I just feel like it can very easily just deteriorate too. And I think we probably as humans, I don't know why, probably have a bias towards doing that. I think just from observation, I feel like in most people's relationships that I observe, for some reason, it tends to go that way.
Where they're
You know,
not they're focusing on the 30% that's not.
that's not right or wrong. So why do you do that? Like, yeah, I don't know, just like, yeah, just it just they just focus that energy there, and then before you know it, the potentially the smaller problems become bigger, and then it's like you don't, yeah, and you're just not connected anymore, you know? Uh, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but that's just my, yeah, my thoughts on, yeah, that's my thing, and there's probably a lot more to dive into, but that's like seems to be what tends to happen.
I think that's a wonderful and astute observation, man.
Yeah.
Because I've experienced both, Kedge.
Mm,
That's the interesting thing. That's why I'm kind of like, like sincerely just like thinking this through as we're talking, my bro.
mm,
I think it's an incredibly beautiful discussion in that um I've been in relationships, very significant relationships,
yeah.
where it completely made me a shell of who I was,
Mm,
in some aspects, for sure. It burnt me out. And then I've been in some relationships, which I think is a little bit more, I mean, I can see your relationship. I
mm,
could see where I've had my version of that with
yeah.
some people. And I could actually genuinely, to be honest, this is actually really opening my mind right now in real time. Like now that
Sure.
we're talking about it. Yeah, I really have seen how I did really, really well when I
Yeah.
was in a relationship because it worked very well and it brought out the best in me and I felt very confident. I felt really good about myself when I was in that relationship, the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen both. And you know what? To go back to the original question, I think at a simple level, that might be the reason people are reluctant to try with relationships while they're on a roll with their business or their work. Is that what you can say? Or
Yeah, no, as in, man, I just had a thought as you're saying it, and I think it's like, and this could be wrong, but when it's a business or you're running something or what, you kind of have to blame yourself to a certain degree, or you can start blaming the world and other things for why things aren't working, which people do. But in a relationship, it's like it's very easy to blame the other person, right? As opposed to looking at yourself because it's like they're there, so you can take out the frustration on them. And so it's everything is hard, right? Business is hard, getting fit is hard, relationships are hard. But with the relationship, when things get hard, like in the fitness, you kind of got to blame yourself, for the most part. When it's business, once again, people do blame external factors and become victims. But in a relationship, there's kind of someone else who can kind of point the blame out, so it's not yourself, right? So
can I
probably why that tends to be a common theme.
can I
Yeah,
okay. I
yeah,
would love to hear your answer on this. So I think I have a limiting belief. It would be convenient for me to say I think people have a limiting belief, but let me just keep it real and
yeah,
say I think it's me, right? And maybe other people do too. But
yeah.
I think I have a limiting belief, my dude, that um like okay, with my business, I'm not supposed to like I have to, I guess, pump the business to receive from the business, I guess you could say. Like, as
Sure,
in, I have to really put the energy in to receive something back.
sure,
With fitness, I guess you could say, yeah, it's on me. I got to do it to get something back.
sure,
And I think what I haven't completely computed in my head, I potentially just answered my own question. I'm not sure, but
sure.
I think I've had a mindset in relationships that and I'm just saying this openly and vulnerably just in case other people get value out of it too, right? But like I think I've had somewhat of a mindset in relationships that I am giving a lot, but I'm not receiving what I want out of it. And
Sure.
I'd love to hear have you had
Oof,
experience like that, or what do you think about that?
oof, oof. Well, firstly, I think you're on the right
Completely
track.
not what we expected to talk about today, right?
Nah, it is.
Like,
Like the two things you told me to ask you about, so we'll wrap this up and we'll continue
yeah.
this. That's good. But no, it's hard, right? Because it's every single relationship is so unique and so personal. And yeah, and you're right. And I'm sure I'm sure, and I know that you would have, and I know that you have, and I'm sure other people feel that they have as well. Put a lot of energy into it. Oh, it's hard, right? Because then it's like energy of doing it, but then it's like, then it's the technique of are we doing it right? Same with fitness, right? You can put a lot of energy, but you can get a better outcome by getting the technique of how you do it right.
Oh,
With business, you can put energy, but there's still techniques and tactics of doing it well. So
oh.
really. it's hard to answer, right? Because it's not because I don't know the details. I don't know how conversations were had. I don't know when we've stayed calm, when we could have got angry. I don't know, when we, all those things. I can't answer that as an absolute statement because there's so much nuance. But all I can say is like, how was it done? And maybe another episode, because I think you said you're talking a lot about this and you're doing some content on this. So I'm sure some of that stuff will be more technique based and then the energy is more directed the right way. And sometimes I'm going to say, like, maybe it's the wrong person. You can do all the things right and it's not going to work. So it could be the wrong person too. So yeah, that's my answer.
That actually was a sincere breakthrough for me. I'm not joking. I'm being real, bro. Like, you know why?
Sure.
Because you're right. Like you're exactly right. You can dump crazy amounts of energy into work, your business or the fitness or whatever. You really can, but if you're not doing it the right way, it doesn't give you that same return, right? Like in the same way, like with anything, man, like you can invest $100,000 here, or if you invest it in the right thing, it gives you a different. So you're still investing the 100 grand, the energy, but you're getting a different thing. I know, maybe people listening to this are being like, "Man, Dim's the dumbest." Like this is so basic. But for me, bro, I think what I'm realizing is like fine, yes, it's true. It's true. I did empty the clip and put insane levels of energy into some relationships I'm referring to. And I didn't get what I wanted out of it. But you're right. If I was not applying the energy in the right way, which to me, when you were saying it, I was thinking, if I was not speaking to her in her love languages, in her highest values, if I was not like really appreciating who she was as a person and what she actually valued, which she has the right to, just as we all do, we have the right to value whatever the hell we want. So if I was not appreciating what she values, and her love languages, etc., etc., etc. And I'm dumping energy in a different way, i.e., projecting my own values and
Mm.
then it makes genuine sense that 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 you're going to get this inefficient use of your energy and not going to receive back what you want. And I don't know if you're about to say something, my bro, but to me, I guess my reflection is like um, okay, like two steps. Number one, okay, get to know this person genuinely as a human being and their values and how they like to receive. Number one. Then number two, ask yourself the self-honest question. Are you happy and willing to give to that person in the form that they like to receive, through the values that they like to receive with? Are you gonna do you want to do that? Because if you don't, then it's going to make sense that you can put crazy amounts of energy in, but that the system doesn't work like that. Whereas, yeah, but the thing is, if you are able to add value, uh, happily, ideally, in a way that they like to receive the value, then that'll fucking manifest very beautifully. It most likely manifests very beautifully for you. That's kind of what I'm getting from this, man. It's gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said,
Boom.
man, yeah, no, it is. And it's hard, right? Because it's like I don't feel like there's a magic answer because I've seen people that are opposites that are attract, as they say, but I've seen people that are very similar and they attract. And like, so yeah, man, I'm keen to unpack some of those things that you just mentioned, and we can do a whole episode on it because I feel like there are some of those techniques and values and all these things we can talk about. But yeah, man, it's as with most things, I feel like there is no perfect answer. It does take a bit of work yourself, figuring out, thinking about these things. And I think all those things that you spoke about for me, I think with all the work I've done with you and other things, they're always just parked. The key ones are just parked in the back of my head. And it's just like you just pull on it from time to time and self-reflect in the moment. And I feel like that just helps. But then rest of it, man, is on us, real life experience. So
That's magnificent, man. That I appreciate us talking about it, bro. Because yeah, because what I was going to say earlier, it's related, but
yeah,
not necessary because I think we hit the real point here.
yeah,
Um, to me, like one thing I've definitely learned, like energy is not dying, it's just changing forms. And one very beautiful concept I learned is like our soulmate is always with us, he or she is just in one or many forms. So I've experienced this very beautifully. Like, so if you break down a soulmate or whatever, your ideal partner, into the traits, the traits, characteristics, behaviors that compose, like, the components that create your ideal partner. If you break it up into the different traits that you're after, basically, then sometimes that can be in one form, and then you're like, oh my God, this is my dream girl, the dream guy. Or sometimes you're still receiving it, still with you, but it's in many forms instead. And basically, for people watching, it's like, your subconscious mind will collapse or disperse your ideal partner into one or many forms based on whether your subconscious mind believes there's more benefits than drawbacks of it being in one form, or more benefits and drawbacks in it being in many forms. So basically, what that means in simple English is like, if subconsciously you believe it's safer for you to receive what you want through many people, so at a subconscious level, it's safer for you and it's more beneficial to you to receive it, uh, through many, then you have it in many. But if you actually believe subconsciously it's better for you in some way to receive it through one, then your mind collapses it into one and brings it out of one, which is pretty deep. But what I would say on that is like, I guess that's what I'm experiencing right now, man. Like I feel like, because where I live, I feel sincerely with all my heart, man. I'm telling you, like, I 100% feel in love, like
Yeah.
in love,
Yeah.
completely in love, man. Like I feel like I run out of words and get teary thinking about how grateful I am to be exactly where I am. And I think about the many forms that I'm receiving, like, oh, like this person or these people that I know here who work at this cafe, they are this characteristic, like
Yeah.
they're like this energy. And then when I go here, I get this energy, and like, and I guess at a subconscious level, for sure, it's not even subconscious. I feel like at a conscious level, bro, I feel there's so much convenience, and everything I want is perfect, like the way that it is. It's so funny. You know how people say like it comes when you're least expecting it, or when you least
Yeah.
are looking for it,
Yeah.
or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
definitely not looking for it right now, bro.
That that's so nice though. Like, and you're right. And I think, and I, man, I'll give you the opposite version of that, or not opposite, like a
I'd love to
related
hear
version.
it.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
related version of that. So even in your relationships, like there's traits that you're looking for, but you also want to know what you don't want from your partner, right? So one of the things, I'll give you a really good one, right? It's very common that your partner tries to keep you accountable, right? Even for me, Gaia, she's like in her default state. If I say something, she's gonna hold me to it, right?
Wow.
And I don't
Cool.
always do what I say. Like that's not a good quality, but I don't always do exactly what I say. But I don't want that accountability from my wife, right? I feel like then I'll get that accountability from other parts of my life and other places. But even though that's her default, I've communicated that with her that I don't want that from her, because I feel like that will have like an effect on our relationship. But she understands that, so she knows that she won't do that, right? And vice versa. There's the similar things too. So that's like there's certain traits. So it's also communicating those things. Whereas like once again, a lot of people, some people might find that nice to have accountability from their partner, but a lot of people might not, as an example. And I think it's worth communicating. Get it elsewhere and get those traits, as you said, from somewhere else where it's the right place to get it from, because I think we all need it. But I think that also helps in the relationship kind of dynamic as well.
That's amazing, man. I understand.
Yeah. So
Bro,
similar to what you're saying, yeah. So yeah, sorry, go.
yeah, no, not at all. All good. Bro, I think we got like 15 minutes left today.
Yes.
I got one other thing that happened this week that I'd love to hear. I'll share what it is, unless you want to talk about something else, bro.
No,
I was going to share what it is. I think a lot of people will relate, and I do think a lot of people get so much value out of this discussion, and I'd love to hear if you relate, which I'm confident you do, and your version of going through what I'm going to share. Is that cool?
sounds good.
Bro, here's what it is. I'm going to try and spend as minimum time as possible on the actual story. What it was I had a series of, I believe, three incidences this week with, in my case, various women, right? And they were all things that basically pissed me off, and they're all sorted now. Just so you know the update, but it's all sorted now. And what happened, my dude, was like um someone that, like, for example, right now I guess you could say I'm dating, um, who I think you know about. I just gotta be careful about the details, but basically, this person I thought went and blabbed and told a whole bunch of people when I wanted to keep it on the down low. Uh, and it actually made me quite upset for a few reasons. But the biggest reason being because in my mind, I felt like, man, I can't trust her anymore because I thought we had an agreement about the conditions. And for her to go and blab and tell everyone, it kind of broke my trust. And if and you know in a scenario, in an intimate scenario, you kind of do need to know that you can trust each other. I think that's all I need to say on that point.
Sure.
Um, and then there was another incident that happened where, and so the dating incident happened kind of like where I live, you
Okay.
know. So for me, it kind of was like, man, this is very important, like where I live and everyone who knows me where I live. So for that thing to happen there was unsettling. Then at my gym, I had another incident where again the one of the staff members, one of the girls, like they're always trying to set me up with this girl that is a cute girl who's a staff member there. And I think that and basically when we were all catching up at like a barbecue that was held at the gym, another one of the girls who also I feel flirts with me and was jealous, basically, came and did some kind of nasty shit when I was talking to the first girl. She kind of did some, in my perception, some nasty shit to pull me away. Here's why I say share this story for anyone listening. Because, and here's my interpretation. I'm at the precipice, and I'm so grateful to say this, my dude. Like, I'm at the precipice, I think, of unlocking like a huge new level of my business. It's really
Awesome.
good, man. Some really amazing stuff is happening at the
Awesome.
moment. And in my observation, when you're at the precipice of this is Dim's, now I'm going to Dim's little theory, right? When you're at the precipice of unlocking your next level, it's like you get all these tests come up that can drag you back down into pettiness. And I have seen this dynamic happen, for example, Kedge, like before the retreat that I run, the boys' retreat that I run, usually, and so for everyone listening, the retreats that I run for everyone, they are very, very transformative. Like someone will usually completely change their life after the retreat because it's such a deep, honest look at yourself and the inner work that you go through. And when you come out the other side, you become a different version of yourself. And I have beyond a shadow of a doubt noticed, usually in the week leading up to the retreat, at least one of the boys will have a big test seeming coming out of nowhere where something happens with their wife or their kid or their flights or this or that or something happens and they call me and they're scared and they think that they can't come, and I have seen beyond a shadow of a doubt that's I've seen this not only in my own retreats, I've seen this across the board. When there's some kind of big pivotal moment or event, usually, and maybe you've seen it with your friends or something, Kedge, but like there's some people just never get through because something seems to always stop them from doing it. And so to me, this is actually like the subcomponents of what we would end up calling self-sabotage. Where for me, if I succumbed to the pettiness of what was happening, because it what like I noticed, my dude. Like Kedge, you would know this. My best friend who died, his birthday was if I'm not mistaken, Wednesday. So also like that was difficult because it was his birthday, and then one of our mutual friends, she went to the cemetery and FaceTimed me from the cemetery, and and I'm very grateful. I was I'm podcast and everything aside, like, I was really glad that happened, man. Um but I'm simply saying all this to say it's interesting to me at the precipice of a new level, you have these seemingly uncorrelated, unrelated things come up that can drag you down into whether it's pettiness, anger, depression, anxiety, whatever. And to me, I think I've been through it enough that I there was a part of me that kind of felt in my heart, this is, I guess you could call it a test, or this is something.
Mm.
And yeah, and I'll stop talking there because I can speak more about my conclusions and what I did to get through it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts so far, bro. Have you experienced this? Do you know what I'm referring
Yeah,
to?
man. Not as in not something that I've noted, but I just saying it definitely can understand. I think there's two parts. I think yours is one. I think the other one, some of the boys in the retreat, there's probably two buckets of people. One, people that almost go looking for it because they're almost scared to go to the next level, so they start seeing all these problems and stuff because it's kind of a way to like allow themselves to not go, right? It's just
Wow.
so and yeah, correct. So and I've seen it with certain, like a really good example would be like certain people, they're really motivated and driven when their backs are against the wall. That's when they're driven and then they get out of that place. But somehow they start doing something stupid to put themselves back in that place so they can find that motivation again. Because that's how they got motivated in the first place. Now they're not in that place, like they lost the drive. So they keep putting themselves back there to do it. So I think there'll be some elements of people that probably go look for the problem to avoid it. But I don't think yours is that. I think yours is like it's almost like a test from, call it spiritual test from the universe that are you ready? Are you ready to push this out of the way? So you're gonna go to the next level. Like, are you ready for it? And I'll say there's probably a fine line between the two, but that would be my observation of it. What do you think?
Bro, yeah, yeah. So here's where I feel like I've learned this, my bro. I don't know if I said this in a previous podcast. Bro, doing cold showers. I remember when I was trying to do cold showers, every time in the morning when I would reach for the handle, my mind would come up with a new excuse why I can't do it today. You
Yeah.
know, like sometimes, oh, bro, it's so cold today. Like maybe not today, or another day, it's like you're reaching for the handle and then it's like, oh, I'm slightly sick today. Maybe not today. Or another one, oh, I'm late for work today. Maybe not today. And I remember my bro, every single time. I just would cut through my mind. I didn't care what it said. I didn't care how legit the excuse. I just cut through my mind and turn the handle and just let it rain. And then it was always fine afterwards. And then I just remember thinking, man, I remember realizing for myself anyway that okay, the only version of me that's capable of doing cold showers every day is the version of me that's capable of cutting through these excuses and being committed to this action no matter what. That's the only version of me that's capable of achieving this goal. I would say in the same way, maybe a nice way for people listening, like the only version of you usually that can get a six pack is the version of you that is down to be conscious about what you eat and usually track what you eat. And also no matter what reason you have to not go to the gym, you still find a way to get to the gym a couple of whatever it is, 5 times a week or whatever. So so I would say that in the same way, the only version of me capable of making X amount per year or X amount per month or whatever, it's the version of me that doesn't indulge in that
Mm.
level of pettiness or whatever anymore. And it doesn't vibrate almost with those, doesn't indulge or vibrate or whatever with those emotions or yeah. And the last little point I'd say on this is what was cool was no matter how shitty I was feeling, it was on Thursday. I remember like I was really feeling the peak of it. I would say looking back, I'm not really feeling it anymore today, because I think it's all resolved now. But on Thursday, when I was feeling it, I think what surprised me was I was like, regardless, I just need to focus and work right
Mm.
now, no matter what. I'm just going to
Mm.
focus on work. And bro, I actually had such a gorgeously productive day. I actually created some real, real wonderful stuff.
Mm.
Dude, not even by the end, but I found myself after a couple of hours actually feeling great. And it put everything into perspective. Yeah, you gonna say?
That's awesome. No, I'm glad to hear. And then on that, so the fact that it's happening at that moment, do you think it is like would you put that as like a universal spiritual, is it like a test? Like why is it happening at that specific time when you're about to go on the precipice, you think?
Well, you know what? I think I don't know, Kedge. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. If you know,
Yeah.
I'd love to know. But my suspicion is maybe it's happening. It's not just happening at the specific time. Maybe things like this are always happening,
Sure.
but your mind exacerbates it as a big issue
Sure.
because at a subconscious level, it's under pressure. Maybe
Sure.
part of it's like your mind is under pressure, and yeah, yeah. And it also I think my theory is, and at some level, psychology is all theory. So my theory is like it's or the type of psychology we're referring to is all theory. Um, um, my theory is like at a subconscious level, your mind, this is a known concept. Our brain has what's called a psychological immune system. Basically, it has like a default node network, a default kind of area that it stays in, an identity, and actions and emotions that it stays in, because that's its known, that's its devil that it knows. It's its safe zone. So when you are trying to venture out of that to be different, your own brain is resisting it because it's an inefficient use of energy, because it's new neural pathways, it's a new area. And so I think what happens is that uh, there's a resistance at a neurological level that your brain feels because it's so used to firing this way, and now you're trying to get it to fire this way. And so then when this thing comes up, it exacerbates this thing because it's trying to return back to the homeostasis of it. That's what I think. So I don't I yeah, who knows? There's surely a mystical lens or even layer on this as well.
Yeah. But even that, no, that even that makes a lot of sense, man. It does.
Mm.
Bro, I know we're a bit short on time today, but only thing I want to ask you, last thing, only because you just touched on it, and I really want to know. You mentioned you're on the precipice in your business, so what's happening, man? Like, as in, just if you can share that, man, and then we could
Love
call it
you,
around.
man. That's so sweet, bro. I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah,
Um, Bro, we have to unpack this like for people's benefit later, like
yeah,
maybe another episode.
yeah,
Effectively, man, it's so funny. You just keep on trying, and then it's almost like you stumble across something that actually works for you, you know? So for me, bro, I do think I mentioned this in a previous episode. I basically wrote, I had this idea that okay, with all my study of how meta and the algorithm and the Andromeda algorithm change works, it basically reads the creative of the photo that you post on Instagram, say. So it reads through the content of the creative through the AI. Even if it's an image, it understands what that image is, and then it reads through the caption, and then based on that, it decides, okay, who do we know in the metaverse enjoys this type of content? That's who we're going to promote it to. And so for me, man, I basically came up with a theory that, okay, if that's how the algorithm works, then uh, how can I get my stuff organically shown to the customers that I want it to be shown to? And then I asked myself, okay, well, who has the audience that that is my customers, my target market? And then I thought of one of my mentors. So I'm like, okay, what if I do a post about me and one of my mentors? So and then what I did was I looked at the best ways to write headlines and attention grabbing like hooks and all that stuff. And I basically created this post, and it had a photo of me and my mentor, a real photo, and I wrote the headline in a way that it was, I just followed things that I learned about, the best attention grabbing headlines and stuff. And I really tried to add value in the post. Um, and I just gave the CTA of following me. And dude, that post, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's at like 90,000 views. It like blew up, bro, and it got me all these new followers, like every single day, just like raining.
amazing.
And I was like, this is cool, bro, because if you're getting basically qualified leads like this, and obviously there's that, like, that's you understand that
Yeah,
part, right?
yeah,
And then what I did was like, okay, why don't I replicate this formula? Because it seems to be working. And so then I just kept on. I've been coming up with all of these like genuinely, really inspiring things that I want to write, headlines and this style. And so that's what I've just been yeah, accruing to. It's almost like you're doing an album release. You're accruing like genuine hits, and then you're gonna get it out there. And yeah, I thought it was incredibly encouraging, man. And then I think, okay, if I can match that with ads, which this is all organic. So what if I add it with ads, and then with the right system, I think this will fucking manifest beautifully, bro. So that's
Unreal. Unreal.
yeah. Short,
Oh,
punchy chat today with Dim and Ketch.
yeah, yeah, that was good. That was good. But and yeah, I've got a big update, but next time, another time as well. Like as in just a sneak peek, as in I think even last week we didn't get to film last week because I was off. Like I'm launching another business as well, so I'll let that wait till next time. And I can share more about that as well if that's gonna make anyone come back and listen next time. So
Oh, huge cliffhanger. Yeah. Yeah, Kedge, yeah. Kedge the first time Kedge couldn't make the podcast. So see, yeah, all right, bro. Cliffhanger.
All right, man. Well, let's call it a day. So it's the end of episode 14, man. Really, now, honestly, so glad we're doing this. Like, I'm just enjoying these chats, and I think already, like, the slowly, more and more people are giving more and more feedback, and I'm just like, it means a lot. And I think we spoke about this as well because this was just a bit random how we just started this. We're going to up the quality. Don't know when it's going to happen, but we'll start upping the quality of the podcast. We just started recording, but we'll try and figure out how it looks more aesthetic. So naturally, it'll be more nice to watch. But hopefully, so far the content itself has been good enough. But yeah, for you as well, Jim, and everyone else out there, like willing you a rich life in all aspects, as we always talk about. And until next time.
Until next time, everyone. Thank you.